Hi guys, so on that note, let us begin up with our very first chapter for the day, which is called as Introduction to Strategic Management. Let me give you a brief idea here as to what we are going to deal with. Now, in this particular chapter, we are going to deal with two basic and very important words that are there in strategic management. The first one, obviously, is a strategy, and then the second word is management. So, the two words that make up to what is called strategic management. A little insight about that, let us see. Strategic management. So on this note, what are these two words that make up to the concept of strategic management? Now, what is strategic management? We will see it in detail in the later part. First, let's get to have a clearer understanding of these two words. What are the two words? One is a word strategy. The other one is a word here which is called as management. So basically, what about strategic management? This is the whole question. Now, strategic management as a subject, if you see, it is just about a very brief summary only. I can tell you there is nothing like very much in depth, or the real management concepts which an MBA will know, or which the professional in strategic management has to know. They are not there in our syllabus. Our syllabus is very sweet, simple. 50 marks, of course. Sir, what is there for you? You will tell it is short and sweet. But as students, we know how much you have to go through. So that is exactly why this batch is here. We'll make sure that it's a very, very smooth ride. Right? If you by chance have heard me before anywhere, you would know how much I appreciate this subject for the flow it has. It's very beautiful. And if you are a past student of mine and now taking up this course, you should enjoy it even more, because the kind of flow that we get through this. So, and there are a lot of people who've told me in the past that because of the pattern, because of the way this goes, the kind of curiosity towards how this subject will flow through is increasing class by class. And it's also nice to know that students fall in love with a subject that they think is some 50 marks paper. We don't even find the context as to why it is added in CA. Leaving all that aside, you'll find it very, very interesting. So to go by that, first let us take these two words. What are those? One is management. What do you mean by management? We'll discuss management as a concept, and then we will also talk about what is the strategy, what is the concept of strategy, where what do you mean by the definition of strategy, how you are going to deal with it, what we are going to do. First, let us come to the word management. So here broadly two words are there, guys. Two definitions, you can say, not two just words, but two ways of depicting what management is. The concept is used in twofold structure. When you say twofold, or rather you can say two context, right? What are those twofold concepts? One, management talks about a set of interrelated functions. Okay, management talks about what? A set of interrelated functions, one related to the other. And sometimes the word management used in the context of referring to a key group of people in the organization. So when you say strictly as to what this concept is, you would see clearly as to the word management is twofold. We are talking about the context where it is being used. Now, if you are using it in terms of activities, where you are saying that okay, we will manage this activity, then we are talking about functions. The other side of the story talks about where you are referring to people, like say for example you went to an admission to an organization, and they are talking about all of that, and then finally it comes to the discussion on fees, and then you ask them about like, are there any discounts possible with respect to the fees, or like I would want to pay the fees in couple of installments. Then immediately the receptionist there, she's telling that no, sir, I don't have the authority for this, you should talk to the management. So when she or he, whoever the receptionist, they're telling that you should talk to the management. What are they telling you? Talk to management. That means there they're referring to a set of people. And earlier in the previous example, what did it tell? Don't worry, we will manage. There we are talking about managing a activity. So these are the two contexts in which this term management is used. The twofold concepts, if you see what those are, one, as such as I just told you, managements represent either a key group of people in the organization, key group of people in the organization, or management also talks about set of interrelated set of interrelated functions. Now the big question is, what are these interrelated functions? What are these interrelated functions? Again, there also we will talk about what the five functions are, which are pretty easy. I think all of you know those five functions very well because they are something that are a lot spoken about. What are those? Planning. First, anything that you would want to do will start with planning, followed by organizing, means bringing things together and putting them in one place. Planning, organizing, staffing. Staffing is one of the very, very important words in strategic management, guys, because in many places we will see that putting the right person in the right place becomes a very, very important thing. Okay, putting the right person in the right place, it becomes a very important thing, and since we are doing that, it is called as a staffing. Right person, right place. Remember this, because I will again ask you in the fifth chapter about what is the definition of staffing, because there we are going to do something with respect to staffing. So planning, organizing, staffing. Then it's leading, or even you can call it as directing, leader of the ship, captain of the ship, however you want to call it. Leading, and then leading or directing. And the most important function is the last one, called C, controlling. Controlling means taking corrective action. See, in business, people can go wrong. There are no two thoughts about that, because nobody is an expert here, right? Everybody does business with a view of achieving something. What is that something? Not everybody does it for profit, mind you. I know your obsession with profits and numbers. We are all financial management students, and I say we, I'm including myself also, because every time we always think anything in terms of numbers, right? At the end of the day, whatever is going on, we have to bring numbers into that story. These practices are so, from the student level you start this, by the time you become a family person, there also we start thinking everything in terms of numbers, because that's not a bad habit. Don't consider that what I'm telling is not that it's a good habit or a bad habit. I'm saying it becomes a habit, because when we do so many problems, when we solve so many problems, we do so many theories in financial management, we do so much accounting, so every time we only bother about numbers. Okay, what is there in this for me? What is the outcome? So we always talk outcomes in the form of profit. But in business, it is not like that. There's one person by name Peter Drucker, who is considered to be the father of management. And he, in his own words, has spoken and said that a business cannot be explained in terms of profits. Okay, you will find a lot of things that I tell are not there in the material, and this is extra information. Okay, along with being a chartered accountant and a cost accountant, I also have a advanced diploma in management studies from CAMA London. Okay, so during my study period for that, it's been a very long time, over it's been 12, 13 years, over a decade plus of my teaching, and I have taught management in the most practical way possible so that people can relate to it, right? So that is why I'll use quotes, and I will also use something that is additionally for knowledge building, more than just about doing it, because as I told you, the material that is crafted is wonderful in itself. So if you run by it, and when I am explaining, if you're concentrating, that should do. But all this additional information that I give you is, like, consider it to be a bonus. Okay. Chala, very good. What are the five functions? Planning, organizing, staffing, leading or directing, and controlling. And guys, since it's an exam oriented batch, I've already told you, wherever I am repeating, you also alongside, no matter where you're sitting, please do it. If you can't do it loudly, at least in your mind, please do it. Since this is the first class, I want to tell this very clearly, because just plugging in earphones or headphones and sitting there, or putting it on loud and listening, watching it on 1.5, you can do whatever at your conveniences, because the technology is with you. But at the same time, if it was a live classroom, as I generally prefer to do a lot of revision, and since we have also a limitation on time, I would not be revising everything 10 times. But when I revise, please ensure that you also do so, because like I said, the class that we are doing in itself should be a end of that story for you. After that, all you need to do is to have a quick revision. That's how we are going to get geared up. Okay, you are in for a complete ride, guys. Don't worry. Like I said, it's just the beginning. By the time we finish, we'll have a solid confidence on each and every topic, because we're going to get a clarity of why the topic is there, not just what is the topic. So that way, you can leave that to me. Just focus on listening well and repeating, revising like that. So one last time for my satisfaction, what exactly is the term management's first context? Management context number one, we are using it to depict a set of interrelated functions which talk about planning, organizing, staffing, leading, or directing. Then the other context of management talks about people who are the key group of individuals. Now, if you ask me, sir, as to why are these people the key group of individuals, because these are the guys who have some decision making responsibility. Okay, these are key group for a reason. Okay, decision making responsibility is there with them, and that is exactly why these people are the key group in the organization. Their yes or no would matter a lot, and that is the reason why they are called as key group. Okay, so let's get to the story, guys. And one more thing that I would like to tell you is, nowadays people choose not to use pen and paper to write something. They are like, anyway, sir will share this PDF, he is writing, so why should I write? uh, Easy material is available, colored material is available, handwritten notes is available, so everything is available. Like I said, see, end of the day, I can't force you or hold your hand to make you write. So all I'm saying is, keep a notes next to you, because there are not so many things that we write, because our material itself is crafted in a very beautiful way. And entire notes that we need to have for revision is attached along with the marathon already, so we need not worry about doing that. Little pieces of what I write on screen, just you can keep a rough note or rough work, so that if you handwrite it when I also do it, it just is an additional layer of confidence that, yeah, this is something that I know because I wrote this notes. That additional confidence will easily come. That's what I'm telling. Okay, again, like I said, we won't write everything, because the material itself is crafted beautifully to solve all this. But wherever I write certain basics, certain things, because in the book final picture will be there, but we should know how it came, right? So that is why I use this. So this option is absolutely yours, because at the end of the day, the running notes that I write also as an on-screen notes, we'll share it along. But simply downloading the PDF is not something worthy of it. So wherever possible, please make a note. Okay, so on that note, let us get to our very first topic, guys, on what is called as management. Let me bring that back on your screen here. Yes, concept of management is used in two senses. It's used in a couple of senses. First one, management refers to key group who are responsible for overseeing. What do you mean by overseeing? These are people who are likes of those charged with governance. In the subject of auditing, you'd find a couple of people, right? Management and TCWG. So there is somebody TCWG overseeing the work of management. So here they use the word management. It covers everything. This is called overarching framework. Overarching means something that covers everything. Okay, so like that, these guys have the responsibility to overseeing an organization's affairs, acts as a chief organ. What is the role of these people? The role of these people is to act as a chief organ, ensuring that the organization is purposeful and productive. Purposeful. How do we ensure that organization has a purpose? By establishing a vision or mission for it, which we talk about it in the later parts. Okay. For now, you can just say, when you say organization is purposeful, you can just say the word vision over there, because for now we can just keep it like that, because every organization is driven by some purpose. Sir, is it compulsory? No, I won't call it compulsory, because for a fact that it need not be compulsory as such. Then comes resources. Now this is the most important word in the subject of management, because we are fighting for that only. Management's role is to integrate these resources. Okay, yeah, if you want, you can also add one more thing, guys. Productive aspects are about efficiency. You can write it here now as efficiency. Later in the fifth chapter, we measure, we did something, but whether we did it efficiently or not, we can measure it at that point of time. Okay, so key group who are responsible for decisions in the organization, they act as a chief organ for ensuring that the organization is purposeful and productive. Plus, five M's are there. Resources. The word resources we talk about are the five M's. What are the five M's? let us have a clear understanding of what these 5 M's are. Because let me, like below this, put it up for you as to, we'll come back and write strategy definition there. But for now, I'd want you to understand this context of resources. What are these resources? If you see, there are 5 M's: men, material, money, machinery, and market. Undisputably, these 5 resources: men, material, money, machinery, and market. So the resources that we're talking about, this is what everybody is fighting for, right? Okay, let me just tell you what the story behind is. I think all of you studied in economics Lionel Robbins definition, correct? You remember Lionel Robbins definition? That he says resources are, what are the nature of these resources? These resources are scarce. If only these resources were abundantly available, we really need not bother about this, right? But these resources are not abundantly available, these resources are scarce. And because these resources of men, material, money, machinery, market are scarce, we need to find the right thing to deal with. And management are those people who integrate these resources, who bring together these resources. That is how we have to put it across, right? There you can come down and underline again as to what is the role of management to integrate these resources. Bringing that back for you. Yes, there we are. It brings together, integrates. What is that? Men, material, manpower means men, material, money, machinery means technology. All of these 5 M's into a functioning whole. Men, material, money, machinery, technology is about market and all of that bringing together. It is a functioning whole. And management creates a unified means one full. Management creates a unified functioning system by mobilizing means bringing all these resources, moving. All resources are obviously not available in one place, right? They're available here and there. So what we do is to bring all these resources together. Sir, where are they available? Some of them are available within the country domestically, some of them are available in other countries. That is why in the next chapter topics like globalization come, because we have to sometimes go beyond the boundaries of our home country to get a hold of all these things. Okay, so you create a unified functioning system by mobilizing and utilizing diverse resources very effectively and efficiently. In other words, guys, I think all of you know this. If at all we are using resources in the most effective and efficient manner, as you see those two words, so management's goal is to use and make sure that all these happen effectively. Then what is it called? You can write the word there. What is it called? Optimal utilization. Whenever we use the word effective and efficient, both in the same line, then it is called optimal utilization. Okay. So management creates how many systems? Unified. Unified means one, Okay. Management creates a unified system for ensuring that there are optimal utilization of resources. And I think the next line tells you very clearly how important the role of management is. The survival and success. Can you see that line? Survival and success of an organization. The survival and success of an organization heavily depend on the two words: competence and character. Okay, already highlighted. Competence means the ability to do something. Character is the behavior that they carry. So if the organization has to be successful, the management should be both competent and it should have a unified character. What is this character that they're talking about? Which also is something that we will see in the later part of the story more detailedly. I think for that we have to go to the last chapter, because when we talk about implementational aspects, that is when we are going to talk about these things more in detail, like how a management should behave. Behavioral implementation, there's a paragraph like that, we'll discuss it there. Okay, but for now, yes, the competence and character of the management are very very important. And lastly, adaptation. The management facilitates organizational change and adaptation. Guys, uh, there's a theory written by Charles Darwin, right? It's called the survival of fittest. survival of fittest is an old school theory now. Nobody is bothered. I think we will discuss that little later as in terms of strategy. But I would like to tell you here about what is this concept of survival of the fittest. Back in time, whoever was strong physically or whoever is able to do something physically powerfully, they would be treated to be in terms of um, fittest, and they will survive. That's what we told. Yeah, that was true at the time of hunting for food. If you are hunting, whoever hunts better and whoever gets it, they will have the better hold of it. That's what the story was in the olden days. But later to which, if you are having a skill and a better skill emerges in the market, and you are never trying to increase on skill, but you are always trying to be something, to be the fittest person, you won't survive. Survival of fittest was true once, but today, only those people will be able to survive who are able to adapt to the change. Let's not go here and there. I'll give you a very simple example. When I started teaching, I was teaching on a blackboard and white chalk. To start with, we started teaching on a blackboard, white chalk. Then came a whiteboard, black marker. Then now both are not there. Huh? We have a tab and a stylus. So if I today also say, like, I will teach only in a classroom, I don't want this, like right now I'm sitting in a studio where the entire set is there. No, it's obviously sitting at a desk and doing only, but the kind of feel that you are getting as a class, it's a very oriented class. And like, material is displayed, like I have a space to sit, but this is not literally what it is here, right? The studio is quite different. So the point is that your way of teaching is still the same. 10 years back, what strategic management I taught, today also I'm teaching the same management, because concepts doesn't change. The medium, the platform has changed. Now if I say no, I will teach only in classroom, I would never be able to reach to an audience like you. Is that true? Because today online coaching is the biggest rise in the last 25 years. Whatever rise is there in the education today, that is all there in the last 2.5 years. In the post pandemic era, you can see that how people have changed and adapted to the digital lifestyle, right? Let it be payments, or let it be education, for that matter, everything is digitized. So in that context, if you say no, 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 let the market go to hell, I will behave like this only, you'd not end up anywhere. So all I'm saying is, whenever we talk about change, that is, you have to adapt on, then only you'll be able to survive. Who will be the people who will help you do this? The key group of people, management. So management should take the responsibility. They will be the one to use the word facilitate. What do you mean by facilitate? They are the ones to bring this, facilitate organizational change and adoption for an effective interaction with the external environment. Okay, so this is the first story of what management is all about, guys. Do not worry, I know what I'm exactly doing, and maybe this is the first time you are doing this as a subject, or maybe you've done it in the past, doesn't matter. Like I said, I know, I take it slow, I'll start, I know where to go on. My entire plan will be absolutely there till the end of the batch. So if I'm talking about something today, I know what I'll be doing in the last class also. So because this is for everybody to come together. Some of you might know this topic very well, so probably you'll be like, management is a key group of people. Done, right? Why are you explaining so much? So yeah, we will get to that level, but for you to get to that level, proficiency is needed. So bear with me, the patience, because some of you already know something, some of you don't know anything, some of you are midway. So I, like I said when I told in the intro video, I'm going to treat everybody that this is the time that you are learning this. So we'll go with it in that pace, and believe me, the entire thing that you will be doing, even when you do it in 1x, it is all going to be worth it and well within the time limits that we have. So don't worry, I know where to go fast, where to go slow, where to be normal. You leave all that to me, and just truly believe in the entire process. And like I said, you would not be disappointed, you'll come out with great marks. Don't worry on that, right? So that is the first sense, guys. Management is a key group of people. And what did we already write, ma? The second one, management talks about a set of interrelated functions. Did you bring that there? Set of interrelated functions. What are these set of interrelated functions? Let us now look and put more focus onto that. Let's move to the second part of the definition. The second part of the definition talks about context B. Moving on, definition B. Here you see definition A, right? Definition A, one definition of management. Definition B. Management this time talks about a set of interrelated functions. What is it talking about? Set of interrelated functions. And clearly you can see there planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control with no particular order because all five are important. Now, listen, I generally prefer to go by the same order that you are seeing there. You can interchange staffing and directing. That's not a problem because you need both. Now, they both generally in practical world they happen simultaneously. See, you can't write planning as the fifth point. Planning first, organization next. These two you can't change. Third one staffing, fourth one directing. Third one directing, fourth one staffing. You can interchange that because that should not be a problem at all. Planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and last one should be control always. Control means to take corrective action. So if at all somebody asks you what is the word management, management second context says it refers to a set of interrelated functions. Set of what? Interrelated functions and processes carried out by an organization's management team. When they say organization's management team, what are they referring to? They are referring to people here. So definition 1, they told management is a key group of people. In definition 2, they're telling these organizations management will do a set of interrelated functions, and those set of interrelated functions are also brought in the context of management. So management refers to what? Set of interrelated functions, which are nothing but planning. Start with setting goals is called planning. I don't need to explain you what planning is. Everybody knows the sentence. I am planning to do this. I am planning to go there. I'm planning to go to a movie on Friday. We're planning an outing this weekend. Deciding a future course of an action is called planning. We will discuss more about planning in another context again. But for now, today, if you want a better thing to be written there, you can always write deciding future course of action. Planning is deciding future course of action. That is what planning is all about. And talk about organizing. What is organizing? Designing the structure. Staffing says putting the right person in the right place, right? In the staffing definition, if you see right person, right place. Where is the right place? Second question. Where is the place? You should put somebody in some place. No, positions need to be created. A structure has to be established. The process of designing the structure, okay, is called organizing, and that structure that is designed would be called as organization structure. We will discuss about how to deal with these structures. Basically, that structure gives a framework, and we will discuss about that in chapter number 5. Okay, what is that framework? uh, Chapter number 5, topic 4, organization framework. One concept is there, neatly we'll discuss that in full detail. Okay, so planning is about setting future goals, deciding a future course. Today I am planning to go to movie on Friday, but I'm deciding today on Monday. So like that, if you're doing something in future and you're deciding about it now, that is only called as planning. Gathering things, or gathering rather you say resources and establishing them as a structure, is called as organizing. Directing, the other name for directing is called as leadership, which is also again there in the chapter 5 only. So this organization framework is followed by leadership. Hiring and managing people. I want all of you to write down this sentence there. The word staffing. Staffing talks about what? Write this. Right person. Putting right person in right place. If you're putting the right person in the right place, that is only called as staffing. After doing all of this, did you really achieve what you want to achieve? Did you really achieve what you wanted to achieve? That is the first last question that we are supposed to ask. Monitoring. That means we are just seeing and understanding, did we get the results that we wanted? Yes sir, we got the results. Very good. Nice. Sir, no, sir, we didn't get the result. What to do? That is exactly where control comes into picture. Control is an aspect of monitoring and ensuring the goals are met. They're telling no how monitoring is by evaluating, and is ensuring goals are met. How do you do that? through corrective action. Through what? Through corrective action. And we will not take that corrective action now. We'll take it over a period of time. We'll take the corrective action. Understood? So this is how it works. So this is how it goes, guys. And please take a minute to run through all the key functions of the management. Planning, I told you, you can revise along with me. Planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control. So 5 of these. So guys, to conclude the discussion of management, because what do these people do? Will management do something? What is the role of managers? We will discuss few more points about this. But if you need to really discuss what these two definitions have meant to you, we'll come back here for a minute to just cross check this. Key group of people who are involved in decision making and a set of interrelated functions. One of the functions is to organize, and that is exactly why we talked about bringing the resources together so that we can organize and work around. Guys, you have the flexibility to put me on pause whenever a topic is over, right? I will sometimes mention clearly it's time for you to put me on pause and take a reading. So just quickly we will brush through all the just because it is fresh now, only we underline, now only we highlighted, so it will be fresh in our mind. And sometimes if you missed noting down anything which you want to, you can do all that. So that 1 minute break in between, 1 2 minutes break is always better when switching on concepts. See, for me, I cannot keep on hold and give you break purposefully. Somebody may need 1 minute break, somebody may take 2 minutes, somebody may take 5 minutes. So what I suggest you, since again this is the first one going to be, you can always be at your liberty to pause. That is the best thing about doing these classes, right? You have the pause button, then nicely take your time, read through, run through, because all I suggest is, guys, all of us are doing this for the exam only, except me, huh? So when we are doing it for exam, we need to make sure that once we are doing it, it is full and final. Every now and then if you keep coming back, and like one of these constant problems that I hear about theory subject is, first of all, SM is a damn practical subject, because this is what is used in practice in real life. People don't understand the difference between text subject, whatever are actually on theory, that is your accounting, costing, financial management, whatever you're practicing, no, the problematic papers, they are practical and these are theory. Is that the notion that people have? Please understand, actually those are theoretical, what you're doing there. You say, for example, you're computing return on equity. Return on equity is a theoretical computation that you're doing on paper. What is the actual? When you get to do the audit and that time you're seeing the ratios, that's when you will get to know, right? So please understand, there is a hugely driven misconception. From years, I'm trying to tell people this only, but they fail to understand. The most practical subjects are audit, law, management. Not only here, as a broad field, I'm telling. Not only our CA syllabus, auditing is an activity. Like running, eating is an activity. Auditing, it's an activity. You're doing it practically. I am a chartered accountant in practice. What am I practicing? The principle that I studied in audit. Law, the most practical thing, I have to comply. You start your bike, you're complying the road rules, no? So like that, compliance. Same way, management, the most practical thing. It is written in text form, that is why people gave it a name called theory. If it was only a theory, how will it be applied in practice? And all these things are applied in practice. You take any big successful company today and see, every topic, every principle that you're studying in this book, they would have applied. Understood? Starting from having a vision to ensuring that they have a mechanism to take corrective actions. Whole our book is spanning across 140 pages. No, everything. Leaving all your questions aside, every topic, small, medium, big, every topic, they would have applied somewhere or the other. They would have applied somewhere or the other means they'll read the topic. I mean, like the topic is known. To do or not to do is a choice. Whose choice? Management. That is why this is a brilliant subject. Okay. And why do you think MBAs are paid so high? For you, it is a 50-mark subject, just to get through those marks and have the understanding of what basic management are. Tomorrow, you guys become chartered accountant. You guys are going to sit in the managerial roles. And you need to understand the management terminology, management understanding, hierarchy. That is why they gave you a 50-mark subject to have a basic understanding of this. Nobody tells you the purpose, right? So, sir, 5.5 papers are fantastic. That half paper for 50 marks, they didn't know what to do. So they brought and put strategic management. Not like that. The 5.5 papers, what you're studying, learning, for you to apply them properly tomorrow in your life, you need management. And when you're doing management is a way of life. Okay. Management is such a beautiful word. Anything you add before that, it gives a meaning to it. Like say this one, what are we managing? Strategy. It becomes strategic management. Okay. I'm stealing away some examples from my next topic. All this I would want to tell you when I discuss strategic management. But since the topic came, let me tell you. What is the other paper? Financial management. What are they managing their money? Financial management. Nowadays you have all modern terminology. Health management, wealth management, wealth management. These guys are there, no, sitting there. ICICI Wealth Management Services, Motilal Oswal Wealth Management Services, Zerodha Wealth Management Services. What are these guys doing? Taking your money and managing. That doesn't become their money. They're managing your wealth. They're creating more wealth for you. Management is such a beautiful word. Anything you add it as a prefix, it becomes a subject. Strategic management, financial management, health management. Today, that too in the the electronic world, that there's so much use of electronics. Every Android or iOS phone comes with a health app, something or the other. So like if I'm using a Samsung phone, I have a Samsung Health. Apple comes with an inbuilt the iPhone comes with an inbuilt health app. And the iPhones, they have so many more. The iWatch has an automatic stress signal sender, right? It measures your blood pressure. It's too much on a watch, right? Every reliant technology today uses something to do health management, because health has become that important for people. There is an app, no, Healthify Me. So like that, health being managed, health management. In the exam, what do we want? Time management. How to answer the best in 3 hours. So what is a crisis resource there? Time is a crisis. 3 hours are only there. My 5 hours are given. Everybody will do CA paper very well, no? Say lengthy papers like accounting or costing, you 5 hours. Every student will sit and solve, because solving is not the problem. No, everybody has the same pattern of solving. You can't change. Like say if there is something like a weighted average cost of capital, you have to calculate. For everybody, weighted average cost of capital is that only, no? That can't change. Or like say you're doing a merger acquisition problem, you can't change that. You have to do the same steps of merger acquisition, consolidation, same steps. So give time. People will slowly do it. 5 hours if given, nobody will fail in accounting or costing. I mean, if somebody lacks concepts, I'm not talking about that. With all the conceptual knowledge, giving reasons, sir, array, time is not there. Another 10 minutes should have been there, sir. I would have killed it. Another, you see, many people come and tell outside, sir, another 15 minutes, another 20 minutes, my life would have changed. That one problem. And it's true. Somebody ends up at 38. Another 10-15 minutes, if they had another one correct answer for 3 or 4 marks, you're through the 40 line. So see, after effects of blaming all this is useless. But I'm telling you, if you can manage means what? Take a resource which is in crisis and do all of this. A set of people doing all of this also called as management. Such a simple topic. Okay. So that's our very first topic, guys. What exactly is management? And with that, I hope everybody has understood both the context very clearly, not just for the sake of answers that we have to write, but for the sake of real understanding of the term, what management is. Now let's get to see three small aspects. What do these people do? Huh? Sir, what is the scope? What are these people doing? Same thing what you saw above, but in a little more polished manner. Scope one, determining goals. These are a set of people who determine goals, where the organization is going, what it wants to do, where it ultimately wants to end. All that discussion they will do. Determining the goals of an organization. Then comes the very, very important part, designing the organization structure. Organizing, here they told no, organizing there is an aspect. Who does that? Management does it. So their job is to design the organization structure, right? I can for now just write here, but like I said, anyway, when we go to the 5th chapter, we have 8 structures are there. 8 structures are there in our book, plus other concepts are also there. There are so many ways of establishing a organization structure. There's a very beautiful topic called McKinsey 7S model, which helps you create an organization structure. But many organizations don't follow that for some reason. What are the reasons? When that is such a good topic, why are people not following? What are those limitations? We'll see that also. Okay. So then these 8 structures are there. 5 of them are traditional structures. 3 of them are modern structures. So like that's a very nice topic. Followed by one of the basic functions of management is to mobilize resources. As I was telling you guys, if only all resources are available in one place. If only all the resources are available in one place. And if all the resources are available abundantly, this problem only will not come. Two problems are there. One, scarcity. that resources itself are available short. We are falling short of the needed resources. Scarcity. Chalo, scarcity we can't do anything because it's what nature gives us. But sir, what about availability? Now, I'll give you a simple logic. What I mean by availability of resources. Please don't confuse this only with raw material. Raw material availability is more easy to understand. Okay, let me tell you that only. Now, you know the continent of Africa. It is so hugely rich in terms of natural resources. Today, as I speak, Africa's potential of extracted material, if you see, not even 10% of Africa's actual potential is used. Right? There are such beautiful resources out there, but the deeper politics that are involved. There are political power groups, there are rebel organizations, there is so much of conspiracy behind whole of this, and the right way of extracting the natural resource that are available in Africa is not done. And because of which we always keep the world in some sort of a crisis. Okay. Because simple logic, guys, if 50 people are there to be fed and only 40 people can be fed with the rice that we have, so either 50 people should eat less and share the food that 40 people eat, or 40 people should eat fully and those 10 people will starve. I'm not here to sit and judge which one is right. Understood? 40 people eat fully, 10 people die. That's one theory. 50 people split the 40 people's food and eat. So some people come and argue, sir, 50 people are eating less food. None of them are satisfied. Let 40 people eat. Let 10 people die. Let it be called as fate. Huh? So you understood both the arguments. This is what politicians do. Anyway, as management fundamentalists, you should understand two things. One, all resources are not available at one place. Two, even if they're available at one place, extracting them would become a challenge. So we have to move the resources. I will give you another example, which in the last 2 decades is the most vibrant example of what is called outsourcing. Okay. In the state of Karnataka, in the state of Telangana, we have two places, Bangalore and Hyderabad, which are the hubs of IT, right? How did they become the hubs of IT? It started becoming the hub of IT because a lot of IT work is coming our way. Is that right? How will a lot of IT work come our way? When other people outsource the work, only it will come. So in the US, in the Silicon Valley, as you know, all these big names, Apple, Google, Microsoft, you name any company, they have an office either in Bangalore or Hyderabad because they have outsourced that much of work to India. Sir, are people not there in that country to do? Not there. Which is exactly why they've outsourced to us. We have the best of the resource, and I don't have to tell you if anybody watching this from uh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, you guys will straight away agree with me that there's the obsession of people to become engineers back then. Now we have diverse studies. The younger generation today is talking about multiple things, but back then, if you see the number, even today, the number of engineering colleges, if you put forth both the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, that is why you see all this. That like now the richest set of people earning the average higher income in the US is people from India, right? Anybody, but from people from India. Okay. So how are these people gone there, or how are those people outsourcing the work here? All thanks to this one simple point called mobilizing resources. If you are able to mobilize or move resources from one place to other, right? And this is topic which leads to something called globalization in the second chapter, right? This where resources are abundantly available, from there bring it to a place where it is less available. Where resources are abundantly there, from there efficiently transfer it to places. Both are businesses, right? Management are those set of people who are involved in, again, doing these two. Allocating tasks and resources among people. Allocating what? You can underline these two words, tasks and resources. Among whom? Among the same personnel that we have within the organization, among personnel. Setting up control systems to achieve the planned objectives. Control system means when things are not going your way, you need some setup which should bring back. That is called a control system. Taking corrective action in simple terms, as I told you, right? Who does all these five activities? All these five activities are performed by management. So the scope is very clear, and the scope goes by simply saying that management are the key group of people who are involved in doing these set of interrelated functions, and this right here is their scope. Explain the term management and determine the scope of functions. Could turn out to be the first question from this book in your exam. Management is used in multiple contexts. Explain. They can ask you to write that, and you can write both the context. So that management is a set of interrelated functions. Explain. They can give you like that. So the question can be framed in multiple ways. At the end of each chapter, I have given so many questions. Guys, I want all of you to also understand that you are not school going kids. So I need not hold your hand and make sure that you do. Okay, I will discuss those questions, but completely you should not be reliant saying that anyway we will watch that video where question answer discussion will be there. We're doing that. I will again tell you when I do the last part of every chapter. I will remind, and last part of every chapter once done, the next class or the next video will be on question answer discussion. And without you finishing the question answers on your own, don't come to that video. That's a warning. Now only I'm telling you. So every time, every topic you're learning, keep that in mind that it is more like a test for you. Okay, come on, let us go to the last part of the story here, talking about management as an influence. Will management influence something? Of course. Management is a influence process. What process is it? Management is a influence process to make things happen, and it should be backed by power, competence, knowledge, and all the available resources. Power, competence, knowledge, and resources. Management is what process? An influence process to make things happen, which are backed by power, competence, knowledge, and resources. It involves gaining command. What does it do? Gaining command over situations to keep things in our control, gaining command, and inducing and directing. Induce means to put a thought into somebody, induce something into that. Inducing and directing events and people. Inducing and directing events, both events. Events means occurrences. A sports event like IPL is happening is an event. World Cup is happening, event. Terrorist attack is happening, event. uh, G20 summits are happening, event. So anything that takes place in the external environment which can have an impact on us would turn out to be a event. So you can either induce an event, direct people. You do this, you do that. You're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. You can always direct a set of people. Okay, it involves gaining command over situations, inducing and directing both events and people in specific ways. You make sure that they listen to you and they do it in the way you want it to be done. Then if you ask what is the role of managers, what is the role of managers? The role of managers, you can see, is to formulate goals, values, and strategies. What is it? Formulate goals, values, and strategies, followed by adapt. Right? Is that the word sometime back we learned? As I told you about the theory of Darwin and all that. Formulate goals, values, and strategies, which in the later part of the syllabus we are going to see. In fact, goals and values, how to formulate is very much there in this chapter only. We will catch up with that. Followed by adapt to the behavioral and environmental changes. Sir, when are we supposed to change? What should we change is a second question. Very important question is, should we change? Right? So there is again a topic in the 5th chapter called strategic change. But the actual implementation of all these topics take place in stage 4, which is, that is why everything what I discussed there are telling 5th chapter. Sir, why is frameworks implemented in 5th chapter? Why are the structures discussed in 5th chapter? Why this behavioral aspects? Because that is when we are doing things. So the first 3 stages of strategic management, which are about creating an intent of doing, strategic intent it is called, followed by analysis, followed by putting strategy on paper. All these are on paper aspects. In action, we will do going forward in those topics. We can clearly see and do what exactly it is. Okay, so that is the first topic, guys. I know we have discussed very limited aspects, but like I said, believe me, you'll follow through in the process. It will be absolutely comfortable as and when we get there. Okay, so this is our first discussion on the topic of what exactly management is, and then we are now going to go ahead further and discuss the concept of strategy. Okay, like I said, please, for a minute you can always put me on pause. There is no time on that. You can neatly see when you need to do that. and get back to me. Okay, so that is what it is. We just have to take a minute to go through all the topics in management, and then you can come back to what is called a strategy. Come on, please do that. All right, guys, I hope you have gone through that. So let us now move on to the next part of the discussion where we're talking about the concept of strategy. Okay, now before we discuss what strategy is, how they are going to be talked about, it is a very, very simple definition that you can pick up from uh, sports. Okay, let us talk about some sports. Where, in terms of your sports, let's say cricket, we are a cricket frenzy nation, so we will go with cricket. Cricket being one of the most watched games in this country. Every time we say this captain made a good strategy, bad strategy, strategy is associated with war generally. Okay, war is where strategy has originated. How to defeat your enemy, whatever you do to defeat your enemy, that mindset, that game plan that we have, that is only called as a strategy. Okay, now who has done what strategy? How kings have followed different strategies to defeat the other kings and capture kingdoms. From there, step by step, certain things have been done and certain things have originated. That is what you see here in terms of what is the definition of strategy. But this time, neither we are playing the game of cricket nor we are talking about waging a war on somebody. Okay, so what are we talking about? We are talking about just business. So this entire subject, as much as we discuss the concept of strategy, it is purely based on, it is purely based on the business. Keeping business in mind, what is a strategy? Okay, I would want you to just start reading the first paragraph, what they gave there, just from here. Strategy refers, because when I read, you should be in a position to quickly catch it up. So take a minute and read that line. What does it say? Strategy refers to something. What is that something? Come on, figure that out. I think you are easily able to read that. It's a simple line. Strategy refers to ways a business. Strategy refers to the way a business decides. What is it saying? The way a business decide. How many ways are there? So many ways are there. What are those so many ways and how we will handle that? We will go and see one by one. As we go forward, we'll be seeing one by one. Okay, strategy refers to the ways a business decide to respond to external forces. Now what are these external forces? Something that come from external forces are generally something that come from environment. What is the term environment? What does business environment mean? We have a full discussion about it in the second chapter, but for now all I'm saying is, before we go to various definitions given by people which are very important, this is general understanding. I don't want you to by heart to this line. Even in the exam, if they ask you define a strategy, I will tell you what strategy is right, because there is one general definition of strategy, and then there are a couple of people who have given very good definitions about strategy. We will see those as definitions. Here, simply basic meaning of what a strategy would be, rather than calling it definition, I think you should call this one as a meaning. Okay, here, though in the context it's classified as definition, a simple meaning says what? Strategy refers to ways. How many ways are there? Multiple ways are there. A business decide to respond to external forces. When is a business responding to the external forces? While pursuing its vision, mission and objectives. While pursuing its vision, mission and objectives. So an entity has some vision, mission and objectives, which are nothing but all these three put together. No, they are called as strategic intent. They're called what? Strategic intent. So in terms of how it works, the intent or the intention in short is called intent, right? So strategy refers to ways a business decide to respond to its external forces while pursuing its vision, mission and ultimate objectives, which are nothing but strategic intent. It helps to reduce uncertainty. It helps to what? reduce the uncertainty caused by the changes in the in the environment, and basically aligns your goals with the actions. So strategy is a very simple concept. It talks about the way a business decide to do something. Sir, I want more clear understanding of strategy. Okay, come down. We'll talk about a more clearer understanding of strategy, and then we'll come and see what is the role. Okay, for a minute, let's go to try and understand what the definition of strategy is in more simpler terms. Right, strategy as a concept. What does strategy mean? So, strategy. You see what exactly it is. Strategy is the long range blueprint. What is it? Strategy is a long range, not even a short time. They're always giving you a long range. Now, please don't mistake the fact that things don't work in the short run. You are taking a long range. It can always work even in the short term also. I will discuss that point once again. But for now, the definition says strategy is a long range blueprint. I think all of you know what the word blueprint is. Before constructing a house, we put that house on paper, right? So it's the design. It is the entire understanding of the framework. Now physically, if there is a building, before this building was constructed, first the building will be constructed on paper, no, by drawing. That drawing of that building, that is what is called as the blueprint. Study is a long range blueprint. Blueprint of what? Study is a long range blueprint of an organization's what? Three things. It's desired image. That means what it wants to be. That is, what is your image? What do you think of yourself? What sort of a company? Like all of you want to be chartered accountant. You have an image about chartered accountant in your mind, no? So in the next 2 years, 3 years, whatever minimum timeline it takes, I want to be a chartered accountant. That feel is what we're talking about here. It is a long range blueprint of an organization's desired image, direction. Now if you have an image in mind, to go there you need to pick up a road, right? That road, the direction, and ultimately where do you want to go? Destination. So this is the simplest and the most easiest definition of what strategy is. Strategy is a long range blueprint of an organization desired image, direction, destination. In simple terms, if you want, you can always put it as where it what it wants to be, the image, where it wants to go, ultimately the destination, and how it wants to get there, the direction in which it is going. Direction and destination ultimately are important, because if you take the wrong direction, you won't anywhere reach a right destination. You will reach some destination, but is that what you wanted to reach? That will be a big question. So desired image, direction, destination, right? So this is a general definition of strategy. If anybody asks you to write in the exam, define strategy, explain its role, define strategy, and then tell something. So every time I choose to write this definition, or there's one more which I'm going to give you now, which is proposed by William F. Glueck. Okay, William F. Glueck. You hardly have, if you scroll through the entire book, you will have 10 names. So you can comfortably remember those names. It will be great. Okay. Yeah. So one of these definitions here is about William F. Glueck talking about it. So according to William F. Glueck, strategy. What is strategy according to William F. Glueck? Strategy is a, nobody can deny. Strategy is a plan. Okay. But what sort of a plan? So he says strategy is a, uses three words. Okay. Unified. In the name only there's uni means what? One. Unification means bringing together. Uni means what? One. Unification means what? Bringing together. So strategy is a unified, means one plan that brings everything together. Strategy unified, comprehensive. Strategy is a unified, comprehensive, and integrated. Strategy is a unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan. What is strategy? Strategy is a unified, comprehensive, integrated. Again, plan only, no changes there. Okay, nothing will change. It is a plan only. Strategy is a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan designed to achieve the basic objectives of a business. Designed to achieve what? Designed to achieve the basic objectives of a business. Now, the big question that pops up is, sir, what are the basic objectives of a business? What are the basic objectives of a business? Now, if you look at what the basic objectives of business are, don't straight away jump to your favorite answer called as, profit. That's not going to work around here, right? So we need to see what is a basic objective. What is the best basic objective driven for a business? To start with, survival. 5 points are there here. Basic objectives: survival, stability, growth, survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and last comes profitability. So my first four, if you do, automatically fifth one will come. Okay, survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability. So this is what we call as the basic objectives of business. Now these five aspects, these can't be taken away. You have to survive, then you have to stabilize, then you have to achieve. So that entire part is defined as a strategy by William F. Glueck. So this definition here is given by Glueck. William F. Glueck's name appears in the book twice or thrice. So for now, Glueck's definition of strategy is this. There's one more definition by Igor Ansoff, but I think if you remember either of these two definitions for strategy, it should be more than good enough, right? What is strategy? A long range blueprint of an organization's desired image, direction, and destination. And the other definition goes by saying strategy is a unified, comprehensive, and an integrated plan designed to achieve the basic objectives of a business. Coming back to the notes, guys, please everybody come back here and talk about what these are. We'll get back to the role in a minute. We will just see what the definitions are. So clearly given, strategy is a long range blueprint for an organization's three words: image, direction, and destination. Image, what you want to be; direction, where are you going; destination, how you want to go there ultimately, right? So this is what the whole point of view of strategy's first definition is. It answers what questions: where it wants to be, what it wants to do, and how, and ultimately the word destination, where it wants to go, clearly given. Definition given by Igor Ansoff. Sir, what is the Igor Ansoff definition? He says, what is it? He says that it is a common thread among activities and product markets that define the organization future business. So his key word is the common thread, what binds or connects the activities. And what are these activities? Those activities that we talked about in management only. These are not some new activities. These are the same activities that you talked about here. Planning, organizing, staffing was there. No, the same activities are bringing them together. That is what is the story. Okay, so that goes into the understanding of what it is. The common thread among activities and product markets that define the organization's future business. What is the thread that connects and how does it do? This is the story. Now moving on, the next definition, which I believe is something that you should know. I am suggesting you practice the first one and the third one. I'm not like I don't like the second one. You can say that I don't really like that because the common thread and all, it's fine. I just gave that here because nowadays in the MCQs they'll give one line and sometimes say who gave this. So it's better to know their name. So Igor Ansoff is a great management fundamentalist. Ansoff's product growth matrix is there in our syllabus. We'll see that it's a wonderful theory. But for now, all I want to say is yeah, Glueck's definition on strategy and uh, the regular basic definition that I gave you, they both are pretty fine, right? Unified, comprehensive, and integrated. Three words. What is it? Unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan designed to achieve what? Basic objectives. And here, if you want, you can write, let me write them in short here, but you can write the whole five words that I showed you: survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability. Right? Wherever I wrote those words in short, I suggest you write the full words. I will show you from here. You can write it down there. You write survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability. I want you to write that word sits clearly. These are called the basic objectives. Later, when we are talking about something else, also we'll get to have a discussion on that, guys. So for now, all I want you to do is to write that clearly. Okay, see that survival, stability, growth, efficiency, and profitability right there in the uh, space that is there. Should be enough to write that. Done. Good. Now, what you can do is to come back to understand what exactly the role of a strategy is. Sir, if we don't have strategy, what will happen? Let's see the role. Strategy is nothing but a game plan that helps the business to take a market position. Do you want to do something or don't want to do something? Right? Just taking a market position. Sir, I want to do this or I don't want to do this. Some clarity around that. Okay. So the role of strategy is a game plan that helps you to take a market position, attract and satisfy customers. Sir, what do customers want? How to attract them? All that we will discuss again in detail. Customer, one full topic is there. Compete successfully, because till now I didn't discuss about that. But what I want all of you to understand is whenever we're talking about business, whenever we are talking about business, we should understand we are not alone. Monopoly is not a real life situation, guys. What is not a real life situation? Monopoly is not a real life situation. And when you talk about monopoly, it's not going to really work. Understood? So it is understood. The fact is understood that yes, many people like us will be there. And in this context of many people being there, how will we work? That is the big question, right? So, yeah, that is where the understanding comes, as it will help you to compete successfully. Competitive theories are there. We will see that also in greater detail. Huh? Study the game plan that helps us to take a market position, attract and satisfy the customers, compete successfully, and achieve all your organizational objectives. So, this is the role of a strategy. A strategy is nothing but a game plan to help you take a market position, attract and satisfy customers, compete successfully, and achieve your organizational activities. Again, this is the role of a strategy. But tell me something, sir. Are you saying can I not do my business without a strategy? Yeah, ideally you can't do business without having a strategy. Sir, I don't have any strategy. I'm still doing business. Not having a strategy is also a strategy, right? So like that, if you can't say what do you do for survival? I breathe. Breathing is a strategy. When natural breathing is not being able to be done, that's why they put you on a ventilator, right? Ventilator is what? Artificially making you breathe. But the point is you have to breathe, then only you will be alive. So it is very clear. Breathing in, breathing out is also a simple strategy. Understood? It's just very simple. Breathe in, breathe out. The close your nose and see. You won't be able to survive, no? Because if you are breathing in and breathing out, that is what keeps you alive. So the purpose of a human being to be alive is done by a strategy called breathing. When you are unable to do that, that's when they're putting you on a ventilator. You seen a ventilator, right? Oxygen cylinder and a ventilator. So artificially, it is helping your system to breathe, and until your lungs are restored to the normal situation where you can breathe without the help of that. That is why it's called life support. So that is a strategy which helps you survive. So every business needs some kind of strategy. Sir, I don't have any strategy. That itself in itself is a strategy. So the strategy's purpose, twofold, guys. Twofold. Twofold purposes. This time we can mark 1 and 2. Both these aspects we are going to do throughout our syllabus. What is the main purpose of a strategy? If you see what is the strategy's purpose. Strategy gives you direction, focus, and this new word, cohesiveness. Cohesiveness means togetherness. Normally, it's about people coming together, cohesive. But in this context, coming together of multiple resources. Multiple resources means material, men, all of it coming together. Strategy gives you a direction, focus, and cohesiveness. In this case, you can say togetherness, where to go, that is direction, what to ultimately look up to, focus, and a direction, right? It helps to two things: identify the opportunities, utilize resources and strength, and also obviously address weaknesses. You can mark 1, 2, 3 for this. What does strategy do? One, Identify opportunities and threats. One, to identify opportunities and threats. Two, utilize resources and strengths. Three, address weaknesses. Now, if you obviously don't know where these lie, sir, how to do this? We will do, don't worry, because identifying opportunities and threats, understanding what our strengths are, understanding what our weaknesses are, all this later will be done through SWOT analysis. The day we have to reach SWOT analysis is quite far, because to go there, we should know what are the opportunities and threats, for which we have to do an external environmental analysis. To understand what resources and strengths we have, and weaknesses, we have to do an internal analysis. So when you do an external analysis and internal analysis, all of this put together will help you understand what exactly you are supposed to do for this story. Okay, so guys, that is the concept of what exactly the purpose of strategy is. Now let me ask you a simple question here, very simple, yet a very important understanding emerges out of that. What is that? It is more to do with the behavior of the strategy. Sir, strategy is now there, no? Since we now brought in a strategy. In the previous part, we discussed something about what you call as management. Now that we have a strategy, can we give up on the concept of management? Let us give up the concept of management, because what we discussed there, sir, strategy is something which is a game plan. And now that we have a game plan, we need not have those management or something like that. We anyway have a strategy, just go for it. Guys, please tell me something. Who will implement that strategy? End of the day, somebody, some people only should do, no? If you have a strategy also, key group of people is essential. A set of interrelated functions are essential or not? So very, very important. Put a star to that point. That point has been tested in the exam so many times. Because we brought in a strategy, can we now remove management? The answer is a big no, because strategy is not a substitute. What is it? Strategy is not a substitute for good management. If you have a strategy, to implement that strategy, you still need management. Strategy is not a substitute for good management, right? And the strategy should be flexible, means opposite of rigid. Rigid means in one way, flexible means it can be changed. Strategy is not a substitute for good management. You have a good strategy, you should equally back it up by having a good management. Understood? So strategy should be there, and obviously the whole context talks about having a set of people also in the organization. So strategy is not a substitute for management, and it must be flexible and pragmatic. Pragmatic means practical, something which is capable of being done, right? I have to move from place A to place B. Okay, sir, I will run. It is not possible. You can, just run like that or do something like that. It's not going to work like that. Okay, so therefore, we have to see how we can do it. It should be practical. A strategy. We'll finish it off in 3 days. When something takes a minimum of 5 days, how can you finish it in 3 days? It's not practical. So, for the sake of saying something, you should not say it. You should ensure that it is also practical. It must be flexible and pragmatic to handle emergencies and unforeseen events. Unforeseen events are something that occur in the industry without our knowledge, because the logic is very clear. Every time, if you can predict what can happen, say for example, what happened in the 1920, there was a pandemic. Then again in 2019-20, 100 years later, another pandemic came in the name of COVID-19. 1920, a pandemic came called Spanish flu. After that, years passed by, people forgot what is a pandemic, and that time the social media was not vibrant, nothing was there. So nobody even bothered. So never anybody in their backup plan even thought of what will happen if a pandemic comes. So nobody even knew something like a pandemic. So then what will happen? Obviously, at some point of time, people will think, "Hey, something has come for which I have not planned." Then what to do? So that is exactly where this point comes in. So put something in space, like something that I didn't foresee can happen. Leave that space. It's called scenario analysis. We will do later, right? What if any unforeseen event comes? Tomorrow, if any unforeseen events come with allowances for miscalculations and unanticipated situations, right? So unanticipated situations or unforeseen events, you can simply say, example, a pandemic. Nobody budgeted. That is why suddenly when the pandemic came, people had to suffer so badly. Many of them had to close their business and stuff like that. Okay. So please put a start to that point. That point is very, very important. It says that strategy is not a substitute for a sound or a alert or responsible management. Now, one of the very, very, very important question that arises at this point of time is strategy is framed at which levels? Okay, but I would like to discuss the levels in the organization first and then come to address. Though this is a small box and they simply said strategies are formulated at these levels. But what are those levels? Because that is very important to understand how many levels are there in the organization. And then what we will do is what typology of strategies, you can see the next heading right there, proactive versus reactive strategy, right? What are the levels involved in an organization, proactive versus reactive strategy, and how to implement that we will discuss in the next session. I don't want to overburden guys. I'd limit each session anywhere between uh, 75 to 90 minutes. That's the best thing to do, right? One sometimes when the topic is in flow, I might take a little longer. So please do not go by the time. Understand that, right? Of course, I will keep time and criteria because the overall subject has to be driven in a particular number of hours. That I am very clear. Okay, we have very planned for it, and then only we are executing this action. Okay, of course, you should know that I'm a strategic management teacher, so it will be planned. The overall framework, or overarching framework of ours will be in my control. Don't worry about that. So please, like I said, let's get into the subject slowly. Get into it, follow it slowly, revise it properly, and then we will go by it. Okay, so that's the end of our very first session, guys. In the next session, I will catch up with what the levels of organization are, and then we will follow it up by discussing the behavior of strategy, which is proactive, reactive, and then we'll further proceed to discussing topics called as strategic intent. Okay, one by one we will discuss. I'll see you in the next session.